Hello again, everyone. This is Jan from New York City and Steve, and we're going to continue on with our conversation about stretching $20 in the grocery store. Now, I know that that sounds like almost an impossibility these days, and I know it's 2020, but since we're working with a 20, hey, 2020 and a 20, right? What can I say? How you doing, Steve?
Fine, how are you?
I'm okay. We're just continuing on with this wonderful idea of stretching $20. I have to share with everyone one of the first things that I do. And welcome new subscribers, by the way. How are ya? Hope that everybody's doing well. And veterans, how you doing today? Listen, one of the first things that I do, Steve, and perhaps you do this too, not sure, but I take inventory before I go to the grocery store. Now, I know that sounds so official, but it's actually really important to walk around your kitchen or your pantry, your cabinets, or wherever else you may keep your food to assess what you actually have and look around to see what you actually may need. Now, to reduce some confusion, the tried and true old-fashioned thing, put a list with a magnet on top of your refrigerator, a running list of things that have run out of stock in your home. If you can manage your kitchen like your own business, trust me, it will streamline your trips. What do you think about that, Steve? You do the same?
I do the same thing as well. I always try to take inventory because I don't want to go to the store and buy, doubles or triples or quadruples of something I may already have.
That's right, because what you're doing is you're tying up money to things you already have when you could be getting other specials, if you will. Okay, so that's really, really important, and I'm glad you did mention that because it's really a great idea to avoid duplication. Okay, not when you want to tie up your stuff. So one of the next things that I do, and perhaps you do this too, Steve, do you study your sales circular in your local stores?
Yes, I do. I study my sale circular. I look and see what kind of deals they are. Here's a little tip that I like to throw in as well. I might have mentioned this in the past if I haven't, or to new subscribers as well. Is when you look in your weekly circular and you look and see what kind of deals you get, if you have a coupon for that same item or items, not only are you saving what they're going to save you, you get that extra discount off with the coupon as well.
Oh my gosh, so, that's really true because you're actually kind of like doubling the value there, right?
Correct. That's what you're doing. Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's just a matter of empowerment. I'm going to pick up in my hand, besides this phone, a little bit of an old-fashioned thing that I still use, the actual one. Look at this. Ta-da! Calculator. Uh-huh. Now, I know that some people rather work with some other manual device, to add up. But guess what? I don't like surprises. The only surprises I like are maybe surprise parties. But this kind of surprise, I don't want to get sticker shock at the checkout. So, Steve, I actually do take a calculator with me to the grocery store. Have you been known to do this?
Yes, I take a calculator with me all the time because when I go into a store and I say, all right, I'm going to go shopping, but I'm not spending no more than, $20, $25, $30. So as I'm shopping and I'm putting things in my cart, I'm adding up as I go along. That way I keep a running total, and if I'm within $2 or $3, if I can get a little closer, that's fine. But if I'm within $2 or $3, then I know I've met my quota, or I don't want to spend any more for that shop.
Wow, that's actually a really good point. You know, timing is everything in life, even at the grocery store. Steve, can you think of a food item that, let's say, might change prices within the same day? I know of one. I bet you know this.
I do. If I'm on the same page as you, I believe that's what's called a manager special.
That's right. That's right.
But as a matter of fact, I'm glad you happened to tap on that because I definitely like to go shopping, especially in the AM hours when they put out the meat. And when I find, sales, make sure you look at the sell-by dates on your meats because if you find that and it needs to be sold by that day, you're going to save a few dollars on that item. And that's another good way to put the money back in your pocket. But just make sure when you buy that particular meat, you use it that day or make sure you freeze it because if you don't,
You could be in trouble. I got a little story for you, Steve. I know of an individual that actually practically jumped down my throat. That person said, "Oh, you and your manager special. We almost got sick." So I probed that person. I know this person a very long time. I probed the person. I said, "Let me ask you a couple of questions. When did you buy that manager special? Friday. When did you use up that meat? Monday. Did you freeze that meat in between? No. Whose fault? That person's fault. They have to understand there is a difference between a sell by date as opposed to a use by date. For example, there may be a sell by date of that Friday, but if you read the package carefully, it may actually tell you, in addition, to use that item by Saturday. So you have to do your due diligence if you're going to take advantage of manager special. If it's just laying around your refrigerator for a week, guess what? You threw away your money. There's no savings there, and that was a complete waste. And you don't want to put your health at risk. So pay attention. If you're going to do a manager special with meat, use it or freeze it or lose it. Just don't eat it very, very past expiration. Does that make sense?
yes, it does. The last thing in the world you need to do is become almost gravely ill off of something because you're not following, proper procedures.
It's really not fair. There's another item at a grocery store that when I used to live when it existed. It used to be an A&P in New Jersey back in the day. And we had this wonderful thing with roasters, barbecue chickens. At 12 o'clock at lunchtime, they were on sale at full price. Very same day, if you delayed your time going to the store, you could get that same chicken at 6 p.m., half price. You know what I used to do? Steve, I used to buy, instead of one, I bought two chickens because you can do a lot for the remainder of the week with two roaster chickens. So it only cost me the price of one chicken, but I got two as a value. This is an example of not having to cook, getting value, and really getting your money's worth. Steve, weren't we talking about peppers recently, the different various prices?
Yeah, we were discussing a green bell pepper versus a red, if I recall.
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why, but there's a tremendous difference. I know in New York, that I could tell you, of the price of one red bell pepper versus a green bell pepper. I don't know. How about in your area?
Down here in my area, a green bell pepper can run about 75 cents, but if you go over and get a red bell pepper, it can be almost triple that. So what, two and a quarter?
Well, guess what? I have a trick. If you're using a red bell pepper in your sauce and you want to cut the cost down, get the green bell pepper, put a pinch of sugar in that sauce, and you might have saved about $2. Just saying. Just saying.
That's a good idea. That's actually one I didn't really think about, but I like that idea a lot, and it will work.
Another thing, Steve, and I bet you tend to agree with this one. A dear friend of mine on this platform, not mentioning names, because it's a subscriber, okay? This person suggests, Jan, stock up for pantry items when you're doing a stockpile. Foods that are already prepared. Hello. She meant like soups. How about canned meats? What do you think of those, Steve?
Canned meats is a plus. You can't go wrong. Because, one, a lot of the time when you go shopping for canned meats, because, one, protein is not always the cheapest thing. So
No.
There's other alternatives. You can do tuna. I myself like Vienna sausages. I had mentioned that on another video segment. If you like chili, if you like canned beans and
Right.
black-eyed peas and things like that, those are great, good sources of protein, and it doesn't bust your wallet price-wise either.
And can I add an extra bonus of information? Consider stocking up on these items when they are on sale, especially during the Fat Cat time of the month. And for new subscribers, I do have a video that discusses the difference between the Fat Cat time of the month versus the Skinny Chicken time of the month. In essence, the Fat Cat time of the month are those familiar couple of weeks soon after getting a paycheck versus the other 2 weeks while you're waiting for your next check. Skinny Chicken. Instead of having a Fat Cat time versus the Skinny Chicken time, one, be prepared. Save some of the stuff for your future in your freezer or in your pantry. If you make a tray of lasagna, cut some up. Put it away for a future night during your Skinny Chicken times. If you have a roast, instead of cutting it in half, cut it in thirds. Take a third of that roast. Use it in the future for a stir fry with your green bell pepper versus red bell pepper. Just saying. Listen, we could get away with a lot of savings. You could take that $20 bill and you could really stretch a buck. Well, Steve, I want to thank you for your input. Did you want to add anything to this conversation before we go?
I can't really think of anything.
So we pretty much covered it.
Yes, I mean, we pretty much summed it up. I can't really think of anything I might have.
But you know what I think, Steve? We should do another tips and tricks at the grocery store type of show in about a week or so, okay? Okay. So in the meantime, this has been Jan from New York City and Steve Young. Thank you so much for viewing. Why? Because we really do appreciate whose time? Your time. Don't forget to come back tomorrow. I'm going to close this up with a little bit of music and to let you know, please put a smile on someone else's face today. You never know if they may need it. And one day, you have a great day.